if you really need something to do and you have no money, there is one activity a couple can do which is free.
Ah, there we go.
Playing cards.
Yeah. That was good. I like that.
I'm James Collins. I'm Alec Cranston. Matter of Facts, the podcast that tells the real stories of Halifax. The good, the bad, and the Bayes Lake.
The Matter of Facts podcast brings you the unsung heroes, the unsung stories, news and happenings from across our wonderful city that you maybe thought happened but didn't quite know the truth behind.
And get you all in the loop on what's going on, what's to come, and what can we be prepared for. Welcome back, everybody, to Season 4, Episode 4 of the Matter of Facts podcast. I'm here with my esteemed co-host, Mr. James Collins. It's been a while since we've been back in the studio. It's been a busy summer, work-wise, life-wise, and it's been a hot summer, too. So I think, a lot on the go, busy, and we're glad to finally get back in the studio to get a podcast in. Good to see you again.
Wonderful to see you, Alec. We're looking very bronzed.
Yes.
Summer is definitely upon us.
Yeah, I'm getting a good little tan this summer,
I think I'm going to have to swivel my chair because I'm kind of falling for you every second I'm looking at you here.
You know what? I've been getting that lately.
You have?
From a lot of people, yeah. Just the sun kiss thing. I pulled up on some of my...
You haven't shaved?
You know what I mean? Like, I pulled up on some of my work buddies one day before that cruise, and a couple were like, whoa, Alec, you're looking nice in sun kiss. I'm like, whoa, fellas, like, please, one at a time. But I'm getting some, it's nice. It's the summer. You get a good little tan on. The weather's quite hot right now. I walked from quite a far to get to here today because I had to park very far away.
Oh, drama
There's
in
some
Halifax.
drama
Right.
in Halifax today.
I called Alec because our phones went and told us that there was a bomb threat downtown. So they initially, by the time you listen to this, either Halifax is not here anymore, or there's a new Wikipedia article up, or probably the most likely nothing happened.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Alec and I received, as you did, a emergency alert to the phone saying there was a bomb threat downtown. Everything was closed. I didn't panic, but I was like, oh, we are literally on the way to that exact area of Halifax. So I called the studio here. And they were like, no, we're open. I said, well, apparently Barrington Street's closed. No, we're on the balcony. There's dozens of people walking around.
Yeah.
So a whole load of nothing. We are now in the studio.
But I'm excited. We have an Insane as the Crane today, which James has prepared for us. But we are obviously, this is kind of a last minute add-on to the Insane as the Crane with the Halifax bomb threat going on, which I hope
that's next month's.
That could be next month.
When this whole thing
when it's all get cleared up.
Purdy's Wolf isn't there anymore.
Exactly. And it's just all a ploy for the new redevelopment. I probably should take that out.
No, I love it. No, desperate times, right?
Exactly. One way or another, it gets done. And then James's turn for Harbor of Lies. He's going to try and get me today.
It's a good one. It's
a good one.
It's true.
It's such a bunch of bullshit is what it is.
Alec just totally writes my stories off right away. But it makes it better when they're true, like this month's is, because when they're true, he's just totally flawed. Shall we do Insane as the Crane?
Yes, let's do Insane as the Crane. Let's get after it.
Insane is the crane. Insane is the crane. Insane is the crane. Kinda insane like the crane. Insane is the crane. Insane is the crane.
Well, it is no surprise that Halifax is kind of an expensive place to live. No. We've all seen costs rise. The amount of money we have to do things that we really want to do, like have fun and buy drugs, is getting a little tight.
Yeah.
But this month's Insane as the Crane is a report which ranks Halifax extreme for unaffordability. But not just that. There's another crown on the head of Halifax, which is the worst Canadian city in the index that they produced. So this was something produced by the Urban Stress Index. It sounds like I should have one of those.
I know.
Just every
I
morning,
follow that.
They'd be like, "You are a number 9 today."
Never dip below an 8.
No, just you wound up bastard. Anyway, the USI, the Urban Stress Index. So it uses data on the distribution of employment income across Canada. It takes stuff from the National Rent Report and makes a score. So it's out of 100. We came in at 76.35, the highest Canadian city, more than Toronto, which was 73.12, negligible difference, and Vancouver, 73.45. Now,
were they second and third? Like they were first and then Toronto?
Yeah, but I'm kind of happy that we're lumped in with these major Canadian cities because I came from away, as Nova Scotians like to say, and I've always struggled in Nova Scotia that people don't want to grow. They want to be this sort of, we're the charming East Coast city, but then at the same time, we've seen population growth. We are becoming more sophisticated. Why shouldn't we be up there? I don't want people to have no money, but where are we heading? Do you still want to be pulling lobster traps up every night, or do you want to be a major metropolitan area? You
can't have the best of both worlds.
Well, people are always like, oh, we don't get good bands here. The highways are shitty. We haven't got our CFL stadium. Oh, we want to be a small town with the meatloaf on Mum's house on the first day. It's like, what do you want here? You got to choose one.
You want the whole package, and but I prefer the path of going towards being a bigger city and having more attractions and more things coming in. I think a perfect example is just to show like what people think of Halifax, Nova Scotia, who aren't from here, who come from afar and maybe visit, they probably do think it's that small town vibe. So when they hear how expensive it is to live here, they're probably surprised. But then I always find it interesting, like the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival was this past weekend. And I've always found it so cool when you have these mega stars that come on stage. And first, they're making fun of Halifax. Like, perfect example, Matt Rife. He comes on Thursday, and he's he's kind of poking fun at Halifax, and what a weird town. You guys are all depressed here. This looks like shit. Like, what is that hill?
True.
It is kind of true. And then, but he was performing Friday night, so then he got a full 24 hours in Halifax, where he went out to Dirty Nelly's. He was out on the Arm, on the boats, and kind of got to explore a bit. So when he came back his next night, I heard he was just like, "What is this place? This is an amazing place. Like, I love it here. Like, I never knew it was all like this." So I think it just takes a little bit of people being here for a day or two to understand what we really have here, which then in turn will drive up the want people to come here, driving the prices up, driving tourism up. I mean, I think it's all good, but it is brutal to hear when you're comparing us to, like a Toronto or Vancouver, and we're technically ahead of them in terms of, was it urban pressure, was it?
Well, it's really the percentage of disposable income that people are left with. So the USI, the Urban Stress Index, told us that rent in Halifax accounts for about 57.8, so call it 60% of a person's typical monthly income. So that is a typical monthly income of $3,500 and rent costing about $2,000 a month. So, this is where things are not so good. And there was some comments here that Halifax isn't just expensive for Atlantic Canada, but it's become an expensive city across the country. So yes, okay, I talk about we want to be the big city, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But then there is another side to this, and it's the side I think is the human part that's really important. And that's this point that people who are feeling the squeeze might be led to think that they're bad with their money, that they're bad at budgeting, but it's not that. It's not a failure in their ability to budget. It's actually a failure in Halifax's affordability model, right? Yeah. And the other thing as well is when people don't have disposable income, they can't go and do the things that make them happy. And that's where this becomes a problem. So if we look at it from the capitalist side of the net, it's expensive city, right? Yeah. Rents drive up. We bring bigger businesses in. We increase our tax base. We get better provisions. Yeah, but at the same time, I remember moving to Canada or to Halifax, and my wife and I could go bowling for a night for $25. You go to Bowlerama right now, you're in, if you're going to buy some drinks too, you're in for $125 for a night. What makes me sad about this, whereas, Alec and I, we are in quite a capitalist-driven industry, and I love seeing investment. I love seeing the city get expensive on that note. I also don't like the fact that people who should be out having fun are sat there crying at the end of the month because they can't make the numbers work. That's where this becomes a problem.
It's tough, and you're forced to drop the things that make you happy.
Sorry, we have water on the podcast, and instead of picking up my glass, I picked up this very girthy bottle, which reminds me of something.
It got me at a loss of words.
Get your hand around that.
I wish you would have taken a sip from that. That would have been great. It would have been a great shot. Yeah, there we go. Hey, it looks like
that's refreshing.
Looks like a vodka bottle. But it is tough because then people
don't offer the guest that. By the way.
No, absolutely. I've already poured him a drink.
Okay.
But you can't enjoy what you love, and I'm a big believer in life is short and all that. So it sucks that people are kind of pigeoned into this world where they are told they're doing things wrong and have to do it a certain way, and then life continues on. Years go past, and they're still not doing what they love because of these pressures. So it's tricky, and it's tough because when you look at like you said, percentage of disposable income, like if you look at our industry, like in our industry, the amount of money that can be made in Nova Scotia is very different, in my opinion, from what the top person in Toronto is making or Montreal. I feel like there's more of a ceiling to, there's only so much here for us to do, but still make a great living. But to make that in those insane tiered numbers, I don't think our city's really there yet. So when you're doing it percentage wise, the cost of things are the same, likely. Maybe between Toronto and here, the costs are similar, but the potential for income is just not as much.
Well, that
here.
was the argument years ago. When we came to Canada, we had a bunch of friends that went to Calgary, and we had some pressure from those friends. Consider Calgary, right? Come out west. And one was a lawyer who would have, at the time, would have been making $55,000 in Halifax as a first year associate.
Yeah.
And they were on like 130, which was 130 was big bucks back in 2010 in Calgary.
100%.
And we looked at it and thought, wow. But then no, the cost of living was the multiple on the income was smaller than the multiple on the cost of living. So my wife and I's argument is we can continue earning less voluntarily in Nova Scotia because our cost of living is lower. But to your point, Alec, exactly what we've seen now is that cost of living has risen to match Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, but our incomes haven't. No. So this is where I think the squeeze comes in, and people feel the pressure. I'm not going to pretend I know what the answer is.
Yeah.
Rents won't go down, but good luck to everyone.
Yeah, good luck to everyone.
And if you really need something to do and you have no money, there is one activity a couple can do which is free.
Ah, there we go.
Playing cards.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. And then you can come on as a guest on the podcast anytime. We'll bring you on because we can't pay you, so come on for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
afternoon
absolutely. Well, we'll continue to monitor the affordability situation in Halifax.
Sorry, it sounds like we got something we can do with it. you know, in like the weather, the news, we're going to continue monitoring the hurricane. If it reaches a force 5, we'll
we'll report back.
Yeah, and the wildfires, where they're always like, we will continue monitoring the situation and making the public aware of any spread and threat to their safety, to life and property. Alex, they're like, we'll continue monitoring affordability. We'll
keep you in the loop. If anyone wants any more information on affordability in Halifax, Nova Scotia, you know where to find the most accurate, up-to-date, once-a-month information right here in the Matter of Facts studio.
Alec has the giggles as we go into Harbor of Lies, and it's my turn to tell him something true, and he can try to derail it if he wants. But we actually started having a conversation. We take a break between these segments we record, and I said, no, let's do this conversation on air. Like, my philosophy to finding Harbor of Lies topics is I tend to do Google search. You end up on old forums, and then sometimes I'll turn to ChatGPT's research tab, and it's funny because it will kick things up that aren't true. And then I go to research them. Okay. Either it's found it somewhere so deep that I can't find the source if it doesn't give it, or I just find it isn't true. So I have to keep going until I find something that's true. So this one was so funny. When I found it out, I cackled.
Okay.
And cackled so hard. I was like, number one, I still think Alec knows this before going into the podcast, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we're going to try this. So, Harbor Lies is I tell something, or we tell the other one something which we claim to be true, and then they have to ask questions and decide if it's true or if it exists in the Harbor of Lies. So this one is 100% true because that's how we always present it. And I tell you, I laughed so hard. So I'm just going to laugh my whole way through this.
That's okay.
So we are all aware that there is the very famous place in Newfoundland where the tide goes in and out and in and out and in and out called Dildo.
Yes.
Okay. People fly from around the world. The sign gets stolen all the time. Even Jimmy Kimmel, remember he did those remotes there?
He brought it up, yeah.
So when I was researching last night, I put this into ChatGPT and did some deep research, and it was odd because it took like 90 minutes to do the research. I left it while we had dinner. I came back, and it kicked this thing up, which I thought was fake. It was true, and it was so funny. I doubled. Jen told me to just shut up talking about it. Okay, it is that in Nova Scotia, there is a very small village in Guysborough County called Anus.
Is that it?
That's it. But I found the Wikipedia article because, of course, it's a Wikipedia article. Now, it's very, 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 very short. So this is the Wikipedia article for Anus. Anus, Nova Scotia is a small unincorporated rural community in Guysborough County in northeastern Nova Scotia. The settlement dates to the early 19th century and was historically associated with forestry and small-scale farming. Despite its unusual spelling, the community's name is traditionally pronounced Anus. So the phonetic is A-N-N-U-S, Anus.
That's how it's spelled?
No, it's spelled anus,
Oh, it's spelled like
A-N-U-S,
anus.
but
Okay.
pronounced anus.
Okay.
So back to Wikipedia, it says the name is believed to be an anglicized version of an earlier Micmac place name, with the present spelling appearing on provincial maps by the mid-1800s. Anus was once home to a small sawmill and a one-room schoolhouse, but declined during the 20th century as residents moved to larger nearby communities. That's like the story of rural Nova Scotia, right? Today, it consists primarily of a small number of homes and seasonal properties and has no commercial center of its own.
Oh.
So
Untapped.
that is the harbor of lies. Dildo Bay in Newfoundland has been hanging on this thing it's had for decades, but we actually have, and I don't want you looking at a map because it would give it away, but if anyone at home wants to Google it right now, it is next to a place called Cook's Corner.
Cook's Corner.
Cook's Corner in Guysborough County.
Okay.
It is a literal dot on the map, a very small hole on the map.
I was going to say, how big is it? Like,
Yeah.
just like, where are we at?
And it gets bigger if you go into prison. And it's called Anus.
Anus.
That is our harbor of lies.
Wow. I mean, it's honestly, it is very believable because there's ridiculous names for counties and towns and cities all across Canada. Anus. So my first question I kind of already asked it midway through was how do you spell it? And you said it's spelled A-N-U-S.
Anus, but has been pronounced anus.
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 Anus is how they pronounce it. Anus. What's the nearest place I would know?
Guysborough.
Guysborough.
So you got Cook's Corner, which is south.
Okay.
And then there's a road on the bay, and then there's Anus in the middle. That's what made me laugh. Anus in the middle, and then Guysborough is above it. But to be clear here, Anus is like a tiny place. It's like a crossroads.
It's a crossroads.
Because the industry there is
Did they
declined.
name it ironically because of how small it is, or
No, it says here Anus is named, I believe, an anglicized version of an earlier Micmac place name, which happened a lot, right? So First Nations communities named places,
Yes.
and then they anglicized them later on. Now, we won't get into that debate.
That's fine, yeah.
We support everyone's rights to colonization, but that's where this sits.
Oh man! And you've been feeding me some lies, I think, lately. It's for me, it's a mind game. I find it with Harbor of Lies because tell a story. I could ask questions. You'll have answers, whether you're looking at a blank screen or you're looking at ChatGPT. There's always answers. It's ChatGPT. Okay,
This is ChatGPT because there's actually something else I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm going to get to a list of other crazy place names.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, you could have told to make up crazy place names, but Anus is very believable. So the big thing with me with Harbor of Lies is a mind game because you come in today and the first thing you say is, I have a true story for you. And that's the first thing you say. True. You said it a couple times over there with Reese and John, and you're saying true, true, true. And because I always think you're full of crap.
Like generally, like in life.
No.
I don't give a shit, but
No. With this, I think you're full of crap with this particular Harbor of Lies. So then my brain goes, okay, he's saying true because he knows I'm going to say, oh yeah, you're full of crap.
it's like a triple bluff it could be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm saying, oh no, you're full of crap, therefore you're lying. But wait, you want me to think that, so that I say that, but it's actually true. But also, you're clever enough to think that I would get to that point. I would get to the point of thinking that you saying it's true reverts it back to me actually believing it to be true. So actually it's false and Anus doesn't exist. Or it's like spelled differently or something weird. Or not in Guysborough County. Would have thought it'd be like in Yarmouth or something. No offense to Yarmouth. But
We have lost all of our listeners in
yeah,
Yarmouth.
all of our listeners in Yarmouth, which was at 0 now.
Oh, just like
Both the sides
he
of
actually
anus.
made an anus with his finger.
Sorry, camera. I don't even know if that's on.
So what I am going to do, and we're going to park Harbor of Lies for a second.
Okay.
Because these are true. So growing up in the UK, people always talk about, have you ever read like the books of hilarious British place names?
No.
So the UK has just tens of thousands of villages. A lot of these are very historical.
Okay.
So this is true. This is not Harbor of Lies anymore. We'll get back to that.
Okay.
These are real places in the UK, real villages. Bellend, Shitterton, Twat, Wetwang, Cockermouth, Fingering Hoe, Crapstone, Ugly, Nasty, Thong, Brown Willie, Scratchy Bottom, Sandy Balls, Bitchfield, Cockbridge. These are all real names. We have one close to where I grew up called Catbrain. All one word, Catbrain. So what I'm trying to say is there are places now.
I mean, that's...
And they're not named comically. There's like scratchy bottom would have been, thrush. It's like a yeast infection. So where I grew up, we had a where I grew up.
Oh, that was the thing you said you were struggling with last week.
I was so damn itchy. Cream is great though. So when I went to university in Cheltenham in Gloucestershire in the UK, we had a village near us called Lower Thrush.
Lower Thrush.
And the thrush was referring to some sort of brush. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is there are these crazy place names. The UK is very, very famous for funny place names.
But some of them are ridiculous. Like what you said, one was like one of those like Cockamouth or something like that. What was one of those?
Cockermouth in Cumbria, a market town where the River Cocker meets the River Derwent. So it's the mouth of the River Cocker, Cockermouth. Right?
I mean, yeah.
So
they had to name that thing Cocker, but I guess they also named a bird Peacock. So there's a lot of weird things going on.
The great blue tit. So see a doctor. So we're going back to Harbour of Lies. Unshun. Used to like unshun.
Okay. Yeah.
We are reshun. Reshun. We are now back in Harbour of Lies, and the claim is, and I need to ask Alec to make a decision. In Guysborough County, there is a place called Anus. Is it true or false? Actually, is it true or does it exist in the Harbour of Lies?
Oh, man. Major mental twistage here. I'm going to say, we're going to find out soon anyway. I'm going to say this is true.
Okay. Alec Cranston claims it is true that there is a place in Guysborough County
True story.
called Anus. I will tell you the story about Anus, Nova Scotia, is existing in the Harbour of Lies.
Oh, man. Oh,
so I thought of this last night. I will show you my Chat GPT prompt.
But those ones you just listed, those are all
Those
true.
are real.
Those are real.
My Chat GPT prompt, I actually deleted my Harbour of Lies thread accidentally. So I said, it's a game. Anyway, right. So I went through and said, my latest entry is going to be a lie, but I want you to make a convincing backstory. It's that there is a small village in Nova Scotia called Anus. And Chat GPT said, oh yes, the trick is the backstory needs to be boringly plausible. If you make Anus too interesting, that in itself is funny.
That's good.
Everybody immediately smells bullshit. So then I said, turn it into a Wikipedia article. And it produced a Wikipedia article.
Oh my. It really did.
So
Sorry, I went away from the mic there. Wow. I should have just played the mind game. You were just saying it's true, so obviously it's false. But you knew how I would play myself around. Play myself around there. All right, fine. You got that one on me. I thought it sounded plausible. And honestly, your little backup thing with the naming the overseas, naming all those crazy towns, that helped. I was like, oh my God.
No, those are all real.
I was like, those are insane. Anus sounds okay. Anus sounds good to me.
Anus sounds good, I think, on a rainy Sunday.
Anus is great.
Yeah.
So, wow. Harbour of Lies. You got me this time. Well done. I'm going to get you next time. Right in the... Well, what's going on in Halifax these last few days? Between the bomb threat, which is currently actively happening as we record this episode, as we're downtown.
I'm assuming this building is wrapped in caution tape right now by the time we try to leave it.
We must be okay. I'm interested to see what happens when I walk outside, but the show must go on. And then there was a gunman that was apprehended over in Bedford a few days ago, but I think he originated in New Minas.
Yeah,
and
which kind of makes total sense. I actually asked a friend. So I was sailing on the Bedford Basin when we got the... Been a few of those the last couple of days.
I know, eh?
And we could see the helicopter flying around. And then my volunteer fire crew has a big thread that we maintain, and we get no insider information, but we love speculation and drama. So that blew up in there. Everyone lives around Bedford, and there were people having SWAT teams running through the bottom of their yard and all this stuff. So I called my wife, of course, and was like, "Where are you?" She was at the gym in Bedford. She's good because we're Bedford people. We're Bedford.
You guys
people.
are ride or die.
So
Bedford.
yeah. So anyway, I was on the water. I was very safe. I was probably the safest place to be.
Yes.
And then this thing just played out. So yeah, dude goes up to the valley and lights someone up there. And then the question I had was, why did he decide to go to the place with the best police coverage in the province? And then somebody I was on the boat with reminded me, because he blends in.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So guy was in full tactical. Do you see the photo when he was arrested?
Well, when he was arrested, they kind of stripped some of it off of him, I think.
They ripped him off. So our HRFE photographer, Sean DeWitt, who's a wonderful guy, is the guy who took the photo.
Okay.
I see Sean a lot. He's
it was a really good picture. Like,
Have you seen me in the firefighter calendar the last 2 years? I'm not kidding. I've been in the.
I've seen one of them.
It's photographs they take throughout the year. It's not like we stage.
I was gonna say your shirt
salacious,
on, shirt off.
I don't see with my shirt off. A salacious calendar.
One,
so Sean is the guy who takes all those photos. Anyway, he got the picture of this guy. Not much has happened since, but what I will tell you is from people I talked to in Bedford loves a good bit of drama. And this wasn't just a good bit of drama. It locked the town down, which really is like talking about free entertainment and cost of living.
Yep.
That had Bedford just totally sorted for a whole day.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. Like to see that come up there when behind Sunnyside Mall. I shouldn't say we don't get much action out in Cole Harbour. I shouldn't say that because stuff does happen, just not too frequently. But
I think he was probably born in Cole Harbour.
Yeah, I think he might be my neighbor. We're getting a lot, like you mentioned, the emergency alerts. Wow, wow, wow. So we can do the best impression of that, but that would be really loud. It's so loud and obnoxious. The funniest thing I shouldn't say funniest with those, but is being in like a room full, like a restaurant or something, and everybody's goes off at once. Womp, womp. We were at a comedy show one time, and everybody's went off, and that was intense. But it was for like, you get an emergency alert for somebody like Northern Cape Breton, someone's missing, and we get it down here. I guess you never know. I mean, that guy came from New Minas to Bedford. Like, guys, people move around.
Well, there's huge debate over that. But
yeah, I know.
People like, why in Halifax should we know about a missing child in Truro? But I think it's foolish to not send that out.
Well, why not?
For one little disturbance. We're on our phones all day. For one disturbance, maybe they're in a vehicle coming to the city and that helps them get located successfully. It saves a life.
It's no harm to me. Like, I mean, someone who works in Halifax, lives in Halifax might work in Truro and get the notification and see them you never know, right? So why complain? Like, it's just, I'm of the opinion that if that comes in, I'm going to look at it. Obviously, if it doesn't relate to me at all, then I'm just going to be like, all right, no problem. Something's happening down in Yarmouth again.
Well, I used to have a screenshot of this on my phone to prove it's not bullshit, because you said I'm full of bullshit.
No.
I'm kidding. But I was just looking for it yesterday because we were talking about it with our fire crew. But I was on a plane once going over the US, and literally I was the only person on the plane. My phone went in the seat pocket in front of me.
Yeah.
And I freaked. And I was like, what? Picked it up, and I got an emergency alert from the municipality we were over.
Oh, really?
In the US. And it was a similar thing. It was that a gas station had been held up. The assailant had left on foot and was on the loose. And it was basically saying, like, the immediate area, go inside, shut doors, don't answer doors, blah, blah, blah. But the signal they use doesn't use phones based on, because I love a good rabbit hole online and read into this.
Imagine.
It doesn't use the phone based on where it's registered normally. So if I take my phone to Toronto, those alerts on the weekend wouldn't have got there. If people from Toronto were in Halifax, their phones would have got them. Oh. So it pings the phones in the area, the radius, no matter where they're from.
Wow.
So
okay, that's interesting.
What happened for some reason was, don't tell anyone my phone wasn't on airplane mode. I was above, 35,000 feet above this place, and that signal reached me. I don't know. But I was like the only one on the plane.
Just another Tuesday morning in the United States of America.
Yeah, I was like, this is our fifth emergency alert.
Like gas stations being held up by the same guy for the third time. He's also got a bomb threat down there.
He's in Halifax right now, running around.
Right now, doing
freedom, though, Alec. Freedom.
Doing a side job.
Yeah. It's freedom in the U.S.
Oh, freedom.
Protect our Second Amendment rights,
or whatever the eagle sound is. I can't. Caca. What the hell was that? No, I love.
If you say cock, it's something else.
That's a place over in.
It's probably in Wales somewhere. Yeah,
Wales.
the city of Oh, we saw Cockermouth actually was a
Cockermouth. Cock in the mouth. Yeah, that's a cool spot. Have you ever been there?
No, I tried to hike in, but it was too deep.
It sounds like a long hike. It sounds like it'd be a long.
Oh yeah,
get all sweaty.
Yeah, it leads to Throat's End.
Oh, what a gaggle.
A gag. So Alec, do you remember? You probably don't remember. A couple of months ago, we were at the with work. We were at the Scotiabank Centre for the that youth hockey tournament. The name escapes me.
The youth sports.
And we were on a roll for these.
Oh yeah,
they were unintentional.
In the skybox.
Yeah, our lovely wives were with us, who are way classier than we are and way more sensible than we are. And Alec made some comment about cranny, and I said, "Oh, Jenna enjoyed a drop of cranny or something." a drop of cranny juice. Anyway, these things just end up, but we didn't even deliberately try to drop innuendos. Everything we seemed to say to close the subject up led to another one.
You just keep trying, and then the moment you say something, it's not like I think of it. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna close it off with this, and then it just keeps going back and forth. And yeah, this was at a semi-formal work event. There were some clients and friends there, and
Mark Carney,
King
Charles.
Oh, Marky was in there. I forgot about that. Yeah. We still haven't got him on the podcast. We're trying. Yeah, it's becoming difficult.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, we'd like to go back and forth with those. I remember in the first season of this, that was like all we did was like there were some episodes where we kind of cut out so much because we would just go back and forth.
Well, we've also made the decision that we've introduced profanity into that. Seriously, man. Like we made this decision back in January was we entered, a new season of the podcast and we said, look, we're tied to Cushman and Wakefield. We would never do anything to step outside that box, but we're going to say fuck.
Yeah.
So we love it now because it's less of an edit for these wonderful people at Podstarter who used to just have to, I mean, I'm sure this is a nightmare afternoon for them to edit, but
the only stuff we ever edit out now is like if we were to go on a ramble about something that might not be public knowledge that somehow we know through work, and then we're like, we should probably take that out, or if it ever were to talk down on anybody. But we don't talk down on anybody. We just like to joke around and
certainly not those dumb people in Halifax.
God, dealing with their affordability problems. Ugh, how dare they? Bomb threats. Well, I'm really glad we got back in the saddle here. It's been a few months recording our podcast, and we've had busy summers with work, and life's crazy, and everything's crazy. But I'm happy to be back, get back in a groove here. Lots more guests to bring on. I was looking back the other day at our history of all the people we've had. Great guests. I would start to list them off, but I'd forget someone, and I don't want to do that disservice to anybody that's been on the podcast, because every guest has been great. But I think there's just so many more we can go after, and we've built this up now to a point where we can have a flowy conversation, and we've learned to deal with frosty guests. You've learned to deal with guests.
Mr. Adams.
I forgot about him. We had to bring him back on.
I was ironing his shirt this morning saying to my wife, my favorite guest on the podcast was Mr. Adams, who supposedly brought a lantern in with him and didn't even bring it into the studio. He casually just put his lantern down by the door. He lived the same way you and I would take our shoes off or put our phone down or something.
I'm still convinced he stepped out of a time machine and he wasn't from this era. That whole fit. What I love about that episode, and then I'll stop because I've been rambling a lot here. What I love about that episode was that he came in character and then slowly started to realize that's not what this was. We weren't doing like
he didn't want to give us what we wanted.
So he started. No, he took his hat off.
He was a little frosty at the beginning.
He was, and he started stripping down. Not like stripping down. I would have did that.
Before we knew it, it was just a sausage fest in the studio.
Oh, jeez, Mr. Adams from Anus, Nova Scotia. But no, I loved him, and then he opened up a little bit. But for the most part, he's like, go book a ghost tour. Go book one of those tours.
Tell us ghost stories. Nah. I was so what's the, we don't want to replace the tour here, Mr. Adams, but just maybe give us a little hint of what people will get on the tours. No, I've just booked the tour.
We got nothing. We got more to the mayor.
We were staring at each other, Alec, and we were just sort of telepathically being like, what the hell are we, how the hell are we going to keep this interview going? Because the guest doesn't want to be doesn't want to be interviewed, right?
I think we just ended up talking about kind of his life. I think because we eventually realized, okay, he's not gonna give us any information. He clearly wants us to just go buy tickets. He must be making a commission off of this. So we just talked about his life a bit, but I think we'll get him back on.
Well, good luck to him. 350 years old and still working.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, that was a good chat. Glad to be back in the studio.
Nice to catch up with you, Alec.
Nice to catch up, James. Yeah. Absolutely. We're in the heat of summer right now. We're inching our way towards the fall, which is a busy time for you and I. But hopefully a busy time for Matter of Facts. And as always, if you guys whoever's listening, uncle, brother, any questions or concerns about how we do things, or you have any guest suggestions, or you want to come on the podcast, reach out to us at James Collins or Alec Cranston.
We still have an email address. I haven't checked it in 3 years.
I know. But if you Google either of our names, our phone numbers are everywhere, and emails for work. You can use those as well. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Stay out of anus.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Matter of Facts podcast.
But you can get more of us. You can subscribe on any good podcast provider. You can follow us on Instagram at Matter of Facts Podcast. And for all that great feedback and abuse, you can send it by email to halifaxpodcast@gmail.com.
And of course, you can always find James Collins and I on the internet.
Please do get in touch, and we look forward to seeing you next time.